Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. I'll try to give it a moment to see if someone's coming in the room. I see we have two watching on YouTube. Want to say thank you to everyone that is in the room. I need to change something. Give me one quick second. I need to step. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. See, I have 5, 7. Yeah, let's get the number up. If you can share out, please share out if you have the ability. I greatly appreciate it. Hey, Crazy Dan, how are you? Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Again, if you have the ability to share, please, please, please share. Hey, Gio. Thank you for coming in. So there's 7 in the room. Truthfully, I range about 10 in the room, and it is fluctuating right now between 6 and 7, which is fine. Those who are not here, if they want to catch the replay, they can catch the replay. Good morning. Hey, Dre, thank you. I know he probably think I'm good and crazy because I just came in here and got on this morning, and I didn't tell him. Thank you. I love Rainbow. She is indeed a woman that is close to my heart. Hoping some more people come in, but definitely not going to wait. Hey, Glorious Life on Wheels. Thank you for coming in. Not a joke at all. Not a joke at all. He said, I known you was up to something. Thank you, Gio. I appreciate it. Y'all, I'm gonna try to do this as professionally as I can. Okay. I'm gonna try to remove as much emotion as I can. Which in all honesty, like I'm literally shaking. That's just how sick of the bull that I am. And that's for real. And when I say sick of the bull, I'm talking about sick of the bull crap of this world when it comes to children with different abilities, when it comes to adults with different abilities, when it comes to bringing awareness to mental health issues, when it comes to just the things that many don't understand. And so instead of just shutting up and learning about it, they choose to make commentary about it. They choose to make jokes about it. They choose to address it in a way that's inappropriate. My grandmother used to always say, hey, Coco, thank you for coming in. My grandmother would always say, God takes care of babies and fools. And I just feel that any adult that can put their mouth on a child, period, is a plumb fool. There is something that does not work properly in your brain if you feel that it's okay to talk about any child, whether they have a different ability or not. That's first and foremost. Children should be totally off limits to anything. 1, because they didn't ask to be here. 2, they didn't ask to be in whatever situation they're in. 3, they didn't ask for the parents that they have. God did all that. And so it's not our place to put our mouth on someone else's child. It's also a dumbass excuse to say, I'm not talking about the child, I'm talking about the parent. Damn it, if you're talking about the child, the parent, you're talking about the child. And if you're talking about the child, you're talking about the parent. Let's not play semantics with words, okay? Let's not do that. Um, Thank you, babe. I appreciate that. So actually today I have, like, for me, one thing I say, every April is Autism Awareness Month. And I'm talking about autism because I have a child with autism, but it doesn't just stop with me for autism. There's so many different developmental disabilities out here that children encounter and don't know. And unfortunately, there's some adults walking around here with different abilities that they don't know that they have, and they think they're normal, which I hate the word normal, but they think they're average or typical, and I hate that word too, and they're not. They just didn't get diagnosed when they were younger. So today, I'm going to do my best to drop as much information as I can about autism, okay? And I'm going to start with saying it's not the parent's fault. First and foremost, not the parent's fault. There are several different things that can cause autism, but the parent, no. And I take offense to it, whether it's said to me or to another parent. I take major offense to it, because what I do know is from the time that my child was 12 months, she was in speech therapy for feeding, so she'd get feeding therapy. From 15 months, she was getting speech therapy twice a week. It was me that drove her from several ends of the town, putting several miles on my cars, trying to get her everything that she needed. She was diagnosed at 22 months. 22 months. So that's pretty early for a diagnosis. Pretty early. I did everything from buying different communication apps, coming up out of my pocket with money to buy different apps, trying to help her be her best self. And whatever that ends up being, I'm going to love her because she's mine. And I will cut, grind, do whatever I have to do for somebody that comes for mine. And anybody else's, truthfully, because I feel like they're all mine. They're all mine. So let's talk about this autism thing first and foremost. Let's talk about children not talking. My daughter is 9 years old. She doesn't talk. Who gonna check me? Who gonna check her? Who gonna come for me? Who's gonna come for her? Nobody. Because if I find out, it's gonna be a problem. Stop playing with these children's lives. They didn't ask for this. The parents didn't ask for this. This road is not easy. I'm the parent that has always said, if I could give my child a pill and it would magically take it away, damn it, I'd give her the pill. Because the world is cruel. The world is very cruel. Took her to the dentist one day. We're in the dentist, trying to teach her how to play with peers. A young lady grabs her daughter and snatches her away in anger while she's on the phone. Now, mind you, I'm tending to both kids because she's on the phone, and she's upset because my daughter is trying to take the toy, and my daughter doesn't understand she can't take the toy. However, she does have a mama that's trying to teach her, no, you have to take turns. Just because you have autism, you can't have things your way. And the little girl's mama snatched her arm up so hard and took her over there to the point where I had to address the mama and say, you didn't have to snatch her like that. Well, you should keep your daughter under control so she doesn't hurt her. I said, there's nothing that my daughter could have done to her worse than what you just did by taking her. I said, my daughter has autism, so she doesn't know how to play appropriately. That's why I'm standing here, to help her play appropriately with your child. But for you to snatch your child like that, that's not okay. Well, you let me worry about raising mine and you worry about raising yours. Okay, that's fine. But at the end of the day, do you want to stay ignorant to the fact that there are other kids out here that don't get it? And sometimes they need some other children who do get it and who are on the right, whatever track, milestones to interact with so that they can learn how to. And I'm going to say this because it is what it is. It's Black folk They act like they don't get it, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. We're the only race that hide our children up in the house, don't take them out nowhere, don't interact with them nowhere, don't figure out how to get the resources they need to get them what they want, what's needed for them, don't want to fight for nobody, don't want to fight for them, don't want to argue with nobody about them, don't want to, if the insurance company say no, it is what it is. No. These kids depend on us to get them what they need. And that's no different for any other child that we have. So we don't get the right to give up on our children ever. And nor do we get the right to sit back and let people make fun of other people's kids, because it's no different. If they do it to them, they'll do it to you. Hey, Eve. I'm okay. It was my pleasure. I was not going to miss that. I'm so excited for you. And it is an important topic. Good morning, Sora. Thank you for coming in. Glorious Life of Wheels. Here's the difference. Yes, don't waste your time with fools. It is a losing proposition. But here's the thing. If I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, any other, hell, if I'm in the grocery store, if I see that there is an issue, then that means I'm not sounding the alarm loud enough. That means I'm not raising enough awareness for people to stop using something that is so real, so hard, to just throw it around like it's a joke. It's not the parents' fault. So let's learn today, okay? Because I'm tired of it. I'm real tired of it. One good second. Let's see here. I'm going to start with the simple definition of what is autism. Okay, so what is autism? We're going to get an overview over here on Google. You know, it's a place that we can go to find out some stuff if we need to find out some stuff, instead of just running our mouths when we don't know what the hell we're talking about. Autism, also called autism spectrum disorder. A serious developmental, did you see serious? A serious, so it ain't nothing to be joked about, okay? A serious developmental disorder that impairs the ability to communicate and interact. Autism spectrum disorder impacts the nervous system. The range and severity of symptoms can vary widely. Common symptoms include difficulty with communication. And for those who don't know what communicating is, several ways to communicate: talk, sign language, AAC it's called augmented communication device. Nonverbal communication, may not be able to use words, but can use their hands and can point and can show you the things that interest them, that hurts them, that excites them. They can still communicate. It may just not be the way of communicating that the world is used to. And that's why you kind of have to know not only your child, but even if you're going to interact with another child with autism, you need to know that child, because as is stated in the autism community, if you know one child with autism, guess what? You just know one child with autism. They are not the same. That's why it's called a spectrum disorder. Every child with autism also is not a savant, okay? There's not this magical special gift that each and every child has. No. It's not like that. It's no different than typical children. We all have something that we're good at, right? So it's just finding the thing that they love. Now, is some of their memories better? Yep. Some of them are. But all of them do not have savant skills. All of them are not geniuses. All of them are not Einsteins. All of them aren't like the Good Doctor on television. Though the Good Doctor does show a great deal of the communication issues that you can have with an individual with autism, but can you imagine having a nonverbal person who can't express what they're feeling, what they're experiencing, what they're hearing? It's hard. Common symptoms include difficulty with communication, difficulty with social interaction, obsessive interest in repetitive behaviors. Early recognition, as well as behavioral, educational, and family therapies may reduce symptoms and support developmental learning. It was something that let's look at this. Let's look at some symptoms. Autism causes and risk factors: abnormal body posturing or facial expression, abnormal tone of voice, avoidance of eye contact or poor eye contact, behavior disturbances, deficits in language comprehension, delay in learning to speak, flat or monotonous speech. Hopefully I said that correctly. Inappropriate social interactions. That's just a few. What is autism caused by? Well, I'm glad you asked. There is no single cause for autism spectrum disorder, but it is generally accepted that it's caused by abnormalities in brain structure or functions. Brain scan shows differences in the shape and the structure of the brain in children with autism compared to neurotypical children. And this is under the Autism Society 2015 article. Okay, let's go over here. Talked about symptoms, but let's talk about some more symptoms because there can be, like I said, a range. People may experience behavioral, inappropriate social interaction, poor eye contact, compulsive behavior, impulsivity, repetitive movements, self-harm, or persistent repetition of words or action. Developmental, learning disability or speech delay in a child, and sometimes no speech at all. They should add that. Cognitive, intense interest in a limited number of things or problem paying attention. Psychological, unaware of others' emotions or depression. Also common, anxiety, change in voice, sensitivity to sound, or tic, which those things can also fall under sensory processing disorder. Treatment, early recognition, therapies, medications. Most times parents like myself, we try to stay away from medications until we just can't avoid it anymore. Specialists, let's talk about these because we need let's get on these. So you have a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, a clinical psychologist, a neurologist, a psychiatrist, a pediatrician, a primary care or PCP doctor, which you also, I can't speak for anybody else, but my daughter also has a developmental pediatrician in addition to her primary care pediatrician. She also has a gastro doctor in addition to her regular that's added to her regular team because she has pica. She also has a Lord, what was it? I was right on tip of my tongue. Orthodontology. I think that's what with the tonsils and the vocal cords, because she also has dysphagia, which means certain things just aren't placed where they should be placed. Okay. So we have that doctor added to that. And then there's ABA therapy, a lot that requires a lot of parents to do. So when someone can make it seem like it's the parents' fault that a child has autism, that pisses me off. Like, there ain't no better way for me to say this. So I'm gonna stop right there because there's plenty more that we're gonna talk about, but I'm gonna stop right there. Do we have any questions? Hey, Scully, House of Thrillers, thank you. Hey, Angels Army, thank you for coming in. Thank you, Mama. I appreciate that. Hey, Modest. Wow, Scully. Is your son doing well? Does have to go? Okay. One of the main communication impairments is lack of ability to recognize body language. We are all actually bilingual as we communicate greatly with body language. Exactly. So this is a critical skill. Thank you, Glorious Life on Wheel. Absolutely. Saw the word autism, brought me here because I have ADHD and autism. Thank you for coming in, Gaming Prince 91. Please feel free to share with us anything that you would like to share. Gonna go ahead and drop the link. If anybody one would like to hit the link, but I still have about 3 articles that we're going to go through. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're going to move right along. We've done the what is autism? Well, I said R. And I hate when people do that. Autism. Yeah. All righty. So I'm going to share my screen with you on here.
Hey.
Hi, Army. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I myself, as a 30-year-old, am diagnosed with autism, ADHD, bipolar mood and seizure disorders.
Mm-hmm.
And, but the thing is, a lot of parents don't know how to take care of their child. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. Help me.
Well, yeah. And when you heard that, it sounds like that parent was being more so disrespectful to your own kid than just letting you take care of itself and that kind of stuff.
Right.
But the reason why I say that is because growing up, my parents never knew how to take care of me, and they never even did their own part to help cope with me and that kind of stuff. My mom and dad got divorced at the age of 5. My mom got custody of me after the divorce, and I lived with her from 95 up until like 98 or 99. And it was because at the time, my mom had custody of me and my one of my 2 other brothers that I have. And after that, she really wasn't taking good care of me. And at times, she never even did anything to help teach me or cope with me and that kind of stuff. And when my dad had seen how my mom was taking care of us, my dad filed for custody, and I was later on lived with my dad. But I never really had my dad help cope with me with my autism, because I had many temper tantrums, and at times I just wanted time by myself, but my dad wouldn't just let me be. Because one thing about autistic people is that when they're stressed out, when they're frustrated, or when they feel as though no one is listening or don't care, we just need time by ourselves, because our brain, it gets so overly like worked up, and we have so much processing going on in our head that we just need time by ourselves to relax and calm ourselves down and process what is going on in our head. And at times, my dad never let me have time by myself. Whenever I would have like a temper tantrum, he would do what was known as a basket hold, or a police restraint. Basically, you would be. My dad would put me on the ground and then cross my arms like this, and the more I moved, the further he would like bring my arms further together to put me in a like a basket hold / restraint, and it put so much pressure and pain on my arms during the times that I was in a basket hold that I just didn't really feel that comfortable. And my mom even at one time spanked me with a metal pan, all because I ate a hunk of cheese from a refrigerator. Come on.
Wow. Let's talk about some things, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And I'm asking because I am a mom of a daughter with autism. I don't do restraints with her. I've been taught how to do restraints with her to keep her from hurting herself. But actually, my grandmother told me to just let her hit her head, and she did it about 3 times. And on the 3rd time, she realized I wasn't coming, and she stopped. And so it worked. Not saying it's the perfect way, because again, one person with autism, as they say, is one person with autism. But I do want to talk, because you can verbalize. So I do want to ask you, you said you you would throw a tantrum. And so we know there's a difference between a tantrum and a meltdown. So you would have a meltdown or a tantrum.
Yeah.
Which one would you have?
Basically, it would be me moving around, screaming, yelling, and that kind of stuff. And in my early youth, from like the age of 9 to about the age of 13 or 14, I would often hit my hand against the wall and punch a hole. And there were a couple of times in like my 12, 13, and 14 years that I would hit a TV and just break it.
And what would cause you to be that frustrated?
For one, not like people listening to me, just ignoring me and just not letting me get my peace and sane. Two, not letting me have my own peace and time to myself. Keep on checking up on me. Keep on checking how I am when all I would say is I'm good, I'm fine, or like whenever I just need time by myself. And three, would be due to the fact that people would always continuously try to dictate me.
As in tell you what to do?
Yep. Because one thing about autism is that when a person has autism, they're basically in a world of their own. The autistic people do things differently, but they do it in their own special way.
Okay, hold on. I'm actually taking notes. So this you're blessing me, world of their own. So how would I, as a mom of a 9-year-old that's not talking, she does use Lamp's words for life. And she's definitely a lot smarter than people give her credit for. How do I allow her to have her world, but also get her to allow me in her world sometimes?
Allow her to get her into her world is basically when she feels ready, or like having her try to write out to you, because you know how she's nonverbal and that kind of stuff. But if she loves to draw, maybe she can try spelling her stuff out like on one of like a marker board or something, and then like just have her write out like saying, hey, love you, mom, or like, hey, mom, can you get this for me? Like if you have anything that you want your kid have anything that you want to ask your kid, like, hey, is there anything you want me to get you at the grocery store, or is there anything that you want me to get for you for Christmas or something like that? Just any question in general, and then to have her write it out, but also to have her get be a part of your world and like an everyday kind of thing. You need to let her invite you when she is ready.
So what does that look like?
Basically, for me, I invite people over into my life whenever I feel bored or whenever I feel alone. Like I always talk to my brother at least once or twice a week whenever I just want someone to talk to. But that's me being verbal, but her being nonverbal. I seen a lot of nonverbal people, but it's kind of hard to try to invite someone in their role when they're like nonverbal. But I guess whenever she is ready for you to be a part of something, she'll come to you.
Okay, so an example. Last night, I was laying in my bed. She came and got me out of my bed. She took me by my hand and she took me to the couch to sit on the couch with her. I have a heated blanket. She went and got her dad. She set him on the couch and she came and sat in between us. And we did that the night before. Now, as far as talking or whatever, she wasn't talking, but she was happy to be just sitting in between us. And she didn't want her dad to leave, didn't want me to leave. Like I went to use the bathroom for a minute and my door was locked and she was knocking on my door for me to come out. So I assumed that was her wanting to spend time with me.
When she came to your room to have you come with her on that heated blanket, that's a sign of like she is wanting to come to you, because all autistic people have that loving affection in ourselves, but we go to those that we love whenever we just want some one to be by.
And so that was that was my next question, because when I tried to interact with her, like on her game and all that, she didn't want that. It was like
it's her trying to her the time that she was with her game is time she wants by herself.
So she just wanted us to sit with her while she was.
Yeah, just sit there, watch her play, but don't like be a part of it, because growing up, whenever I wanted to just play, like let's say a single player with 4 computers of Mario Kart, one of my family members would ask to play with me and that kind of stuff, and it was at that point where I just didn't wanted anyone to play with me. I don't mind my brother or my sister watching me play Mario Kart on the N64, but it's just me needing time by myself, because whenever someone who is autistic is on their computer, on their cell phone, or on their video game console, or like how your daughter was playing a game by herself, but you were just there. People can you can be there to watch her play, but to be like interactive and play with her, the autistic people will feel uncomfortable because we're just trying to have our own time by ourselves.
Okay. Did you have any therapies? Did your parents put you in any therapies? Like, were you always talking? What age did you start talking?
The age that I started talking probably wasn't until when I was like 5 or 6, and I didn't start learning a bike till I was 12. And yes, I was in therapy, but it wasn't until like the age of 14 or 15, because at the age of 13, or more so at the age of 12, I was put in a psychiatric facility by my dad called Prairie St. John's, and it's a psychiatric facility in a city called Fargo, North Dakota. And I was put in there by my dad. I just didn't love it all that well. It was like a prison of one of those facilities that really isn't any help and are trying to change you for who you are as a person and try and make you become different than what you want to be as your own human self. And then, but then, and in that same year, I did the unthinkable, and I'm not saying that it was a good idea, but what I did is I ran and escaped from that psychiatric facility. I was trying to learn the way out, and unfortunately, the only way in and out is through the employees, because any employee that worked at that psychiatric facility, they come in through one of those sliding glass doors, but the only way to get out is if an employee had like one of those key things, like a key fob to grant them access to exit the building. And so basically what I did was I waited until the next employee came through the sliding doors, and I ran through the sliding doors and took the elevator and escaped the psychiatric facility to get away from it, because it just was too much for me to handle. And then later on, my dad signed me up to be put in a group home. And I was in that group home from 2003 to 2006. But during those 3 years, I was with a roommate who was way worse than I was. And he at one time pounced on me and started like gnawing on one of my legs. But yeah, I did see a therapy in like 2005 or 2004 once I went into the group home. And then from there, I got the help that I needed, but my parents continue saying that they love me, but it's just, I wish my mom and dad would have taken better care of me.
Let me ask you this question. You said that in the facility, they tried to make you be something or someone that you are not. Can you explain that more?
So, like, let's say if I were to go back there and try to get more help, they would try to change my personality, my the way I am, and that kind of stuff, because there are a lot of like psychiatric facilities that changes who a person is, and that kind of stuff, because there are the places for because I'm pretty sure you've heard of like of a facility for the LGBT to change who they are as people, and that kind of stuff. It's basically like that. It's a facility where they try to change who you are as a person, instead of trying to help with you, trying to cope with you, trying to have you improve who you are as a human being, and try to teach you the right from wrong. They tried to change me how I am as an entire person.
Man, is your name Angel?
Yeah.
Angel, you are an angel.
Thanks.
You are so smart. And you're everything I needed this morning. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
And the other thing I want to say is, if any of you watch Sesame Street, they now have a character who has autistic named Julia.
Yeah, we've met Julia. I want to go back to your parents, if it's okay. Do you feel, when you say they didn't help you, let's talk about the restraint first.
Well, let me first clear my couch so I can show you it more in person, instead of having to do it from the front.
Oh no, you're fine. I know how to do that. You don't have to show me. I've been trained how to do it. Yeah, you don't have to show me. I've been trained. I don't do it.
Yeah.
I haven't had to do it on my daughter, and I pray I never have to. It's only reserved for if she gets to a place where she's hurting herself.
All right.
And so that's kind of my question. Was your dad possibly in fear that you were hurting yourself?
He probably was, but also at the same time, growing up, I just wanted to be with my neighbors and the kids in like my park and that kind of stuff. Because once I learned how to ride a bike, I rode with a couple kids in my neighborhood. And then when I got back, my dad was so angry at me because of me not asking him. And it's like as though he wanted to like keep an eye on me all the time, 24/7. And so I just wanted to be a normal kid and all that. But at the time when I was trying to do so, it's like my dad never approved of anything. Playing with the kids in the park, I couldn't go further away than he could see me. Want to ride with the kids, I couldn't unless if he was able to see where I'm going. And once I had rode with the kids one time, he took it away, and I was like a bit upset as to why. But I went ahead and just went on my bike again. And even my dad had to get like one of our next door neighbors to be like our security guard to make sure I don't get on my bike during the time that he took it away.
So do you think your dad's concern wasn't so much you being with your friends, but so much of your friends possibly trying to take advantage of you or putting you in a position where you may get in trouble? Like getting you to steal something from the store or
I think that may be, but it's just that parents need to realize autistic people would never do anything that would be against the law. Because for me, I've never stolen, I've never robbed, I've never done any of that, because I know the right from wrong. But in terms of that, you may be right, but it's just, I think my dad probably was too overbearing at the time.
So how does one You wanted to go and you want to be with your friends. So would it have been bad and making sure you didn't get in trouble? Would that have been better for you?
What's that again? You kind of went in and out there.
So instead of not letting you go out of his sight, would it have been better if perhaps your dad had a friend that looked out for you, or a buddy, or so where you still were able to have a normal life, but someone with you, be it an older brother or something, to help you make right choices, better independent choices?
Well, yeah, that could have been a solution, but he didn't have to take it a bit too far to take it away my bike, all because I rode with a couple kids in my neighborhood. He didn't have to go as far and have to put me in a psychiatric facility. He didn't have to do all the stuff that he did to me growing up. He could have just been a normal parent and said, "Yeah, go ahead and hang with the kids, or go ahead and ride with your with the couple of kids around your neighborhood." Because I lived in a trailer court growing up, and really there wasn't no houses in the trailer court other than trailers in the area that I grew up with, leading up into where I had to be in a group home. But Glorious Life on Real says, it sounds like your dad was concerned about your safety. I feel that way too about my daughter. She trusts everybody. Could that be the case with you and your dad? Well, that could be the case, but it's just, I think parents, especially a parent who is concerned, need to stop being too overly concerned. Know that your the autistic kid will be able to make a bright future for themselves, but you also need to let your kid be with everyday people. Because one of the things I always hear because one of the things I always hear from people, and I tried doing this, is to be with people like yourself, people who are autistic, people who are ADHD, people who are disabled. I lived in a high expensive apartment unit once I moved here to Arizona last year, called First Place Phoenix, and it's a place that helps the autistic and disabled people. And I tried to make friends there, and it was really hard for me to make any friends over there because of how they were. I tried going with the advice of try to hang with people who are like you, but it was really hard for me.
And I can get that. And I hope in hearing that you kind of hear where you're saying it's hard for you. Your dad was probably saying that in advance, that it was a little hard, and was really probably trying to look out for your best interest. But I don't want to take away from what you feel. Did you ever hear people talking about you growing up?
Growing up, there were rumors spreaded about me, but I just didn't really pay any attention. And growing up, really, it was really hard for me to try to be with people because I was in special ed growing up. And when I finally got to a normal high school, I felt welcome finally. And but there was a couple times in my high school years where I wanted to sit with people. Either they would all just stand up and go to a different table, or I would be at a table all by myself.
Did you ever hear grown-ups talking about you?
Do I hear grown-ups talking about me?
When you were younger?
When I was younger, I had a lot of people talk about me because I not only was in in a group home, I also had a social worker. I also had several services given to me. And at the age of 18, I was given a court-appointed guardianship conservatorship.
Okay. So do you have a relationship with your parents now?
Nah, I don't have any relationship with my parents anymore. My parents still say they love me and that kind of stuff, but I don't speak to my dad anymore because after what had happened back on February 15th of 2019 last year, after I had gone back from a trip to Arizona before I had officially moved here, I spoke to my dad late in the evening hours, like around 12 or 1 a.m. on February 15th of 2019. And I just want to let my dad know that I made it home safe and sound. And then I just had to ask him a simple question of why he interrupted me when in the midst of me trying to apologize to him. And then of course he interrupted me again during the midst of our phone conversation. And it's because he says that I repeat the same goddamn shit. That's what he said to me. And I even had mentioned to him that I applied for him and us to be on the Dr. Phil show because he thinks I need the help. He needs the help more than I do because he drinks so much alcohol. And growing up, he was a huge alcoholic, and he still is to this day. And he never cared about any of us. My sister and my sister's husband got into an argument with my dad, and my sister don't even speak to our dad anymore. My brother tried all that he could do to talk to our dad, so now we just don't talk to our dad anymore. And there's just so much in my life that really was a struggle with me. But once my dad had said what he did to me, I just haven't spoke to him. I mean, I called him for Father's Day this year just to say Happy Father's Day to him. But for other than the Father's Day of this year, I haven't have a typical conversation or let him know how my day was. Is because I refuse to even talk to him.
What advice would you give to me for my
for you as a parent? Make sure you understand what your child is. If your child is doing something by themselves, it's usually them trying to have their own alone time, and they'll come to you when they want some coping or want to just be by their parent. And don't ever get your kid a guardianship. A guardianship will try to be the ruler of your kid. And because when I was given a court-appointed guardianship, there were a lot of things that they were not able to let me do. Because in 2015, when I wanted to go on my first ever trip by myself, me trying to be more independent at the age of 25, they said, nope, either you have to have a supervised person or a parent with you. When I wanted to look for a job in 2016, they thought I wasn't ready to go back to work. And when I wanted to get a pet sometime in 2017 or 2018, they thought I couldn't handle taking care of a pet. But there were a lot of things that my guardianship told me that I can and cannot do. So make sure you never get your kid a guardianship, because a guardianship will just restrict your kid from certain things. And there's a lot of cases of harassment of guardianships online.
You said there's a lot of cases of harassment.
Let me show. Is there if I screen share and play a video to you there, Isaiah?
ISEASHIA, sure. Are you able to from your end?
Yeah, because people who are on the panel can screen share as well, but you just have to add it to the stream, because you know how you added me. When a panelist screen shares, you just have to add it to the stream, like how you add people onto panels. I'm 30 years old now. There, T. Amber.
He's 30. Glorious Life on Wheels wants to know what do you want and see for your future?
For me, I'm just trying to make things work out in the way that I want. Like for my YouTube channel, I'm having it worked out in the way that I want. Like me doing my vlogs, my mukbangs, my live
Another
streams, and
question.
so
Do you
much
mind
more.
getting his link and dropping it in the chat, please? I'm sorry.
That's all right. And for me, I just want people to try to have their autistic kid be successful as well. Because the thing about people is that they like never like get a chance to see who you are as a person. Once they see who you are and that kind of stuff, and they don't like get a chance, they immediately like judge you. Like I've had times when I would be in call-in shows not on video, but over the phone. And I've
Mm-hmm.
had people judge me even not knowing that I had a disability, like a speech impediment and my autism, and
Mm-hmm.
they would say things like "retard."
I hate that word. I
It's
hate
like
that
it's
word.
like it's like the N word to the autistic.
Yeah. 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 I
Um,
hate that
uh,
word.
I just get tired of it. But even though I'm used to it now, it's just
Thank you, guys.
people say that to the autistic and disabled before even getting to know who they are.
And how does that make you feel?
To be quite honest, uh, it makes me feel both good and bad at the same time. The good is knowing who those people are who judge you, and but also the bad makes me feel as though, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why I support the just say no to the R word. I don't use that
Yeah.
word at all. Um, there
Um,
was another
uh,
question for you. Tamber says you're such a great communicator, and you really are.
thanks.
So someone did something right along the way, okay? Um, I'm sorry. Glorious Life on Wheels says, so what is your living situation now?
I now live by myself in my own apartment. And that's the thing that when I have moved here to Arizona, I want to be in a different apartment building. But my brother and my social worker suggested First Place Phoenix because of them possibly helping me to be more independent with like learning to cook, learning to clean, learning to organize, and that kind of stuff. But that place wasn't any help at all. And to be
Mhm.
quite honest, it was a big waste of money because I paid $3,800 a month for the year that I was living there.
Yeah. You the screen is yours. Please teach us.
Well, sometimes we don't even realize how blessed we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking for the video to show you there.
Thank you so much for sharing this and being brave and talking to us. I actually came on today because I was irritated because I heard someone basically blame parents for children having autism, and it's not the parents' fault that children have autism. And
No.
then also, I think people don't understand um, how hard it can be to parents. Like, you never give up, but it's definitely different. The parenting part is different. And I don't want to cry, but just watching you communicate the way that you're communicating and expressing the way that you feel. And it is such a blessing to see. And I'm so sorry that your dad doesn't see that, but I pray that one day he does because you're amazing, Angel. You truly are amazing.
And you guys were talking about medications. I used to take like 26 different medications growing up, and back in like 2018 on January 1st, I just wanted to do a little bit of an experiment to see how things would be if I stopped taking my medications altogether. And I felt better off without my medications than I did with my medications, because I took things like Tegretol, Adderall, Seroquel, Risperdal, and so much more.
Mm-hmm. And so as a mom, I've done everything I can to not give my daughter medicine. The only thing we have to give her now is something to help her sleep. But even with that, I've gotten to a place where I don't like it because I think it makes her head hurt, but she can't communicate that it makes her head hurt. But yes, please share with us, teach, like, this is what I need.
And I'm happy to have helped you today. I'm trying to find the video that I want to show you. I'm pretty sure it's online here, but it's basically a video of a case of guardianship abuse.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm gonna read some of the comments if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Hi to everyone that has come in. I definitely want to read some of the Gaming Princess comments. Thank you for coming in, Gaming Prince 91. Gaming Prince 91 says, with me, I got bullied nonstop throughout school, and it got to the point where I melt down and went on a rampage. I'd get called stupid, dumb, get called the R word. I hear that a lot. Then Gaming Prince says, I still get the odd, I'm sorry. I still get the odd bully now and then, but as long as I have my routine, then my living's okay. Also, when I was growing up, my dad had this reward system if I had behaved.
Growing up, my dad had a reward system for me, but it wasn't for my behavior. It was for my point sheet or my good grades. Because when I was in special ed, we would always get points for every class of the day for like our behavior. And whenever I would get like a 90 to 100 point sheet, that was like anywhere from 90 to 100%. My dad would always make me a big plate of nachos to reward me for my good day at school. But that was like the only good time that my dad ever treated me well.
And Gaming Prince 91 said, yeah, it worked sometimes up until 1999 when my dad died. That knocked me back, and my mom sent me to Scotland to live with my uncle, who I knew how to handle me. He kept the reward system going. When I was young, I never spoke to people, but now it's easier as all my friends are on PS4. So seeing them face to face is easier as I can recognize their voices. And that is Gaming Prince 91. And Gaming Prince 91, if you would like to come up, you can hit the link as well. I do know what you're looking for, Angel, as far as guardianship abuse. I definitely understand that. I have guardianship of my older brother who has autism, nonverbal, cerebral palsy, intellectual disability, and pulmonary hypertension. He can't stay alone. He can't take care of himself.
Well, the thing is, you're a guardian to him and that kind of stuff. But I had a guardianship over under the state of Minnesota.
So it was someone that wasn't related to you.
Mm-mm.
I gotcha. And I know I'm an advocate, and so I fight for the right of quality of life.
I was given by someone that was not related to me. So because I was given a court-appointed guardianship in the city of Clay County of Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. And so you're not in the same state as your parents.
My dad is back in Minnesota, My mom is somewhere in Minnesota as well, but a majority of my family all lives here in Arizona.
Okay. Okay. Is there, what would you say to adults on the internet who may say mean things to parents and children? And I'm speaking little children, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. What would you say to adults who speak of these kids but don't know much about them?
For me, even though it may be kind of hard to like not let the what they say about kids, like let's say if I were to be in a stream and they were to like mock and make fun of the autistic community and that kind of stuff, and for any parent that would listen to something, it would be kind of hard to like let it go and that kind of stuff because of what they're saying. But in the end, it's just how they think. You can't change what a person thinks, and they can't see it for themselves unless if they were to have a kid of their own who is autistic. Because a lot of parents and people who mock the autistic and disabled community have never had a kid of their own who is autistic.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And so my goal is to raise as much awareness as I can. And if
So
that means,
either try ignoring it if you ever see a YouTube community or a YouTube stream that makes a big mockery and says a lot of bad things about the autism community.
mhm,
But either which way, the people will find out for themselves of what it is, of what autism is and that kind of stuff, because a lot of people have never had an autistic kid, and once
mhm,
they get their first kid, they'll like we're like, well, wait, what is going on? And then they'll have to get the go to the doctors to get the help that the kid needs, and the doctor would say that your son is autistic or your daughter is autistic, and
mhm.
then from there they'll have to like learn more about it.
Yeah. And so my goal is to not ignore those things. My
Yeah,
goal is to,
yeah,
I don't want you to have to fight the battle,
mhm,
but my goal is to fight the battle for you if I can,
yeah,
because the world has to become a better place one person at a time. And we have to learn how to accept people for who they are. And
hmm,
um, yeah, that's that's what inclusion is about to me. It's not about
hmm.
changing you, but it's about getting the world to accept you for who you are.
And the one thing I will address, and you may have your kid that has some say something about this to them later on in the lives. But one thing about the people like myself or anyone else in general is that the more you succeed, the more you prosper, the more you follow your dreams, a lot of people will say that you've changed and that kind of stuff. And to be quite honest, the nobody will change them who they are, because I'll always be the same angel that I am. Because the positive pusher knows me pretty well, and the positive pusher knows that I have an infectious laugh, knows that I am with a lot of YouTube communities here on YouTube and that kind of stuff, and she knows me pretty well. But would I ever change who I am? My happiness, my positivity, my message, my channel format, or my laugh? No, I wouldn't. I'll still continue being successful, but I'll never change who I am, because the thing is, just because someone is doing well and you see it and you see a different side of them, they don't have a different side. It's just you and your perception of them thinking that they're different because of how successful they're becoming. Because I've had people say that they see a different side of me once I became monetized on my channel back in October of this year, and I haven't changed who I am as a person. I still am the same angel that a lot of people knows me for who I am, but it's just that really gets to me when people say that you change or that there's a different side of you, all because you're doing well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And there even has been a song that I have been listening to titled, let me just sing you the chorus. They say I sold out, that was before, they don't blank with me no more. They say I sold out, now they're mad. Gucci's blue bag, but everything I was made me who I am today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everything we were when we were younger and growing up is how we became who we are today. Just because we're doing well and all because we're doing successful doesn't mean that we've changed as ourselves. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a positive pusher. But yeah, I just want people to be successful, and there is even like a famous thing that I say on my YouTube channel that's in the section where I tell people to keep moving forward. The further you go, the further you'll proceed in life and what you believe in. Because if you believe, you can achieve.
Yes. I agree with you. I agree 100%. Angel, you have been a true angel in this conversation.
Thank you.
You've given me what's the word? Strength to continue. Thank you so much, Glorious Life on Wheels. If you would like to stay up, you can. There's still a couple more slides that I would like to share.
All right.
Who's your buddy there with you?
This.
Yes.
This right here is my Quincy plush doll that I got back in April of this year. Quincy from the show Little Einsteins.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
It's because at the time I was like going through some stuff with the previous apartment that I lived at, and also my brother didn't have any cellular service to me get in contact with him. So I got this just as a little backup to comfort me. But now I use this to help me fall asleep every night.
And so you don't have to take any medicines to go to sleep. You just go to sleep.
Well, I go to sleep on my own, and at times I may have a couple of sleepless nights, but it's either because of me having something in my head, or because like the last week, Wednesday night, I couldn't sleep at all because I was super excited for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And so who checks on you?
No one. No one does.
So you live on your own, but no one. Wow.
My brother calls me like a couple of times a week, and I call him, and I call my sister at least once a week, but I don't have anyone on my end that checks up on me on a daily basis. I just live by myself now.
Wow. You stay safe and you be very careful.
I know.
I can't thank you enough for sharing with me. Like I said, there's a couple of more articles that I want to share. If you want to stay on, you can. You let me know what you want to do.
You share your articles. I'll look for the video.
Okay. All right, guys. So the next article I have is from the Washington Post. And the title of it is Parents don't cause autism in their children, and we need to stop blaming them for it. Okay. Parents don't cause autism in their children, and we need to stop blaming them for it. This was written November 28th, 2014. Since the condition was first recognized in the 1940s, parents have been and felt blame for their children's autism. Today, most people no longer believe this, but a lingering doubt continues to niggle many parents. Autism was first identified in the era of psychoanalysis when professionals looked closely at relationships to explain disability and mental illness. Childhood autistic withdrawal was thought to be an emotional and relational problem. Parents were blamed for their children's autism because psychoanalysts thought cold, detached parenting must be the cause of their extreme withdrawal from the social world. Some parents were seen to interact with their children in ways that were interpreted as demanding and emotionally distant rather than supportive and warm. But the predominantly psychoanalytic view has gradually been replaced with a biomedical approach with understanding autism, a different perspective. We now believe autism spectrum disorders are based in biology, the result of something about how the brain develops. It's still accepted that some parents have trouble interacting with their children with autism, but this isn't their fault. These children are, by definition, difficult to interact with. Children with autism have social interactions and communication difficulties and engage in atypical, restricted, repetitive behaviors. These core symptoms limit their ability to interact with others and get in the way when others try to engage them. Anyway, it's not just parents who have trouble engaging children with autism. The same goes for extended family members, family friends, teachers, professionals, and other children too. But individual differences are important here. Some children with autism are particularly hard to engage. They prefer to be left alone, which is what Angel just kind of shared with us. Others are quite keen to interact, but don't know how to go about it. Individual differences also exist among adults. Some parents and other people seem quick to grasp how to interact with children with autism. They find ways to catch and keep a child's interest and to get the child to learn new skills. Other adults find it harder to read and understand children with autism, or they have more difficulty changing their own behavior to develop strategies for engaging these children. A helpful strategy. An important feature of interaction seems to be how responsive as opposed to directive adults are with children with autism. Responsive interaction includes comments or actions that build on the child's current interest and behavior, supporting what the child is already doing, which is what Angel just shared with us. For instance, a parent might say, "It's a car," when the child is playing with a car. Directive parental behaviors aim to change the child's activity or focus of attention. A parent may ask the child to say car when he or she is playing with the car. Or the parent might take the car away, insisting the child say the word before he or she gets the toy back. While the directive strategy might seem helpful for teaching skills to children with autism, evidence suggests responsive adult behaviors are more helpful. In the early 2000s, American researchers Michael Siller and Marion Sigmund reported that more responsive parents had children with autism with better social and language skills. Recently, my colleagues and I also showed the importance of parents' responsiveness, but in a different way. And I'm going to write this down so I can research that more. Parent responsiveness. I'm sorry. We randomly assign half of a large group of parents to a one-year intervention program working on one-on-one with a speech therapist. The remaining parents receive their usual community services. The new speech therapy program guided parents to improve skills for reading their child's subtle social communication signals and to interact in a more responsive way. As you might expect, many parents receiving this intervention became more responsive to their children, but we found their child's own interaction skills also improve. The importance of parenting. Siller and Sigmund showed the importance of parental responsiveness by observing later benefits for children with autism whose parents were naturally more or less responsive. We have now shown that parents can also be guided to become more responsive, and that this too benefits their children. Parenting plays an important role for the development of all children. Supporting parents to interact more responsibly seems to benefit children with autism, just as supporting parents can help children with other conditions such as anxiety. Many autism researchers seem reluctant to study parent-child interaction. So the topic is something of an elephant in the room, which is kind of what Angel just shared with us. We all know there's some kind of relationship there, but many don't seem to want to talk about it because of the risk of reviving the ghost of parental blame past. But just because we feel uncomfortable, God, just because we feel uncomfortable talking about something doesn't mean we shouldn't. And if we're going to talk about parenting and autism, we'd better also do some research on it to make sure we're talking sense.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna research a little bit more about the parent responsiveness. Glorious Life on Wheels, thank you. If I had not said thank you. Yeah. And I also have 2 more articles that I want to share. This one comes from Disability Scoop. Okay. Is there anything that you want to say before I go to the next article, Angel? About the last article?
The last article, a lot of things that was read is what I had mentioned to you there. Isaiah, how do you pronounce that? I'm trying to learn your name.
It's
how do you say it?
It's ISEASHIA.
ISEASHIA.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like it's spelled. So you kind of have to think about island. You know, island is spelled IS. Yeah, so it's ISEASHIA.
All right.
But you touched on a lot of what was in that article. And this conversation is uncomfortable. And that's why I kind of chuckled at the end, because the motto for my channel is a safe place for us to have the uncomfortable but necessary conversations. And so, yeah, but it's not the parent's fault that a child has autism. And that's the piece that I was trying to make sure that I conveyed. It's just the brain is wired a little differently. And truth be told, all of our brains are wired differently. I'm an adult with ADHD. My brain is wired differently. So this next article, it's with Disability Scoop, and it was written November 10th, 2019. I'm sorry, 2009, forgive me. Autism moms have stress similar to combat soldiers. Mothers of adolescents and adults with autism experience chronic stress comparable to combat soldiers and struggle with frequent fatigue and work interruptions, new research finds. These moms also spend significantly more time caregiving than moms of those without disabilities. Researchers followed a group of moms of adolescents and adults with autism for 8 days in a row. Moms were interviewed at the end of each day about their experiences. And on 4 of the days, researchers measured the mom's hormone levels to assess their stress. They found that a hormone associated with stress was extremely low, consistent with people experiencing chronic stress, such as soldiers in combat. The researchers report in one of 2 studies published in the Journal of Autism and Developmental Disorders, this is the psychological residue of daily stress, says Marcia, I'm not going to mess up her middle or whatever maiden name, Seltzer, a researcher at the University of Wisconsin-Madison who authored the studies. The mothers of children with high levels of behavior problems have the most pronounced psychological profile of chronic stress, but the long-term effect on their physical health is not yet known. Such hormone levels have been associated with chronic health problems and can affect glucose regulation, immune functioning, and mental activity, researchers say. In a companion study, the researchers followed up with the same group of mothers daily to interview them about how they use their time, their level of fatigue, what leisure activities they participated in, and whether or not stressful events occurred. This information was then compared with data from a national sample of mothers whose children do not have disabilities. Mothers of those with autism reported spending at least 2 hours more each day caregiving than mothers of children without disabilities. On any given day, these moms were also twice as likely to be tired and 3 times as likely to have experienced a stressful event. What's more, these moms were interrupted at work on 1 out of every 4 days compared to less than 1 in 10 days for other moms. Despite all of this, mothers of an individual with autism were just as likely to have positive experiences each day, volunteer, or support their peers as those whose children have no developmental disability, researchers found. On a day-to-day basis, the mothers in our study experience more stressful events and have less time for themselves compared to the average American mother, says Leanne Smith, a developmental psychologist at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, who worked on the studies. We need to find more ways to be supportive of these families. In particular, the researchers say that parents need better respite options and flexibility from their employers. Further, they say programs to help manage behavior problems can go a long way toward improving the situation for mothers and kids alike. And this is from Disability Scoop, November 10th, 2009. Title, Autism Moms Have Stress Similar to Combat Soldiers. What do you think about that?
That was another great article about how the time they spend with like their normal kids as opposed to like their autistic kids. And I think it's because a lot of the times, like I told you, autistic kids want time by themselves.
Okay, we have one more article, and this article is called 10 Ways to Help the Parent of a Child with Autism. And this is in The Guardian. 10 Ways to Help the Parent of a Child with Autism. I have a child with classic autism, another with Asperger's, and a third with learning disabilities. And so I don't know the date that this was written, 2017. So no longer is the Asperger's diagnosis given out. It's all under autism now. And then it's like level 3 to 1. So where she's saying classic autism, that's probably a level 3 child. And the Asperger's is considered like a level 1. And that's determined by the amount of care needed. Having a friend to support you can be invaluable. My newborn didn't cry. Instead, she peered owl-like at her new environment. Instantly, I fell in love. She was adorable. Her face and shoulders were covered in down-like peach fuzz. Her blue eyes were almond-shaped and her mouth was tiny. Over the next few days in the hospital while I recovered from a cesarean, various professionals came in and out. I remember the third evening, I was forcing my tired eyes to read a novel that I had been enjoying before Daisy's birth. Along came the junior registrar, hovering over my sleeping baby's cot, his furrowed brow far easier to read than my book. Is there something wrong? I asked eventually. Oh my God. This baby isn't normal, he answered. I think there is some kind of syndrome. Down syndrome, I asked. In those days, I only knew of one syndrome. Yes, or something similar. The muscle tone seems to be low, and the feet are too small. See? I felt as if I had been dropped into a dark hole. It was lonely in there. 1,000 questions bubbled inside me, but the registrar had disappeared. I wanted to talk to my husband. Instead, I scooped up Daisy and examine my sleeping daughter. Whatever the future held, I knew we were in it together. Looking back, I realized that even if the brutal news that Daisy was not normal had been given while my husband was there to support me, the question that was closest to my heart could not have been answered by anyone. What will life be like now? Daisy's official diagnosis, and I cannot pronounce that, is a particular syndrome, came via a geneticist when she was 12 months old. Symptoms vary from person to person, but for Daisy, it's involved low muscle tone, joint hypermobility, and severe learning disability. By the time we were given the full diagnosis, I was pregnant with my third child, who would complete our family. From birth, Lenny clearly wasn't disabled in the way that Daisy was. He was noticeably muscular and very strong, intensely interested in his environment. Lenny was also too able for his own good. He was one true love. Mother Nature called him constantly. He outfoxed any, yeah, I know about that. He outfoxed any security system that we put in place to stop him from getting outside. But despite his physical ingenuity, he didn't talk. And he didn't point at things that interested him or play with action figures. Instead, he would spin the wheels of toy cars, staring at the spokes. Is it spokes or spooks? As they whizzed around. At 3, Lenny was diagnosed with classic autism, and I had to tell my eldest daughter, Rosie, then 7, that she had not one but 2 disabled siblings. Rosie was bright, academic, and inquisitive. I had noticed that she was a bit different from her peers, but had put that down to her being an old soul who liked adult company. But she was struggling socially at school, and at the age of 9, she was diagnosed with Asperger's. There was a period of retreat while I processed the fact that all 3 children had challenges. Eventually, though, I braved the world. We attracted curious stars everywhere we went. Lenny wanted only to perch on adult shoulders or run off at dazzling speed. Daisy needed a special pushchair, and Rosie dressed bizarrely and what often appeared to be in her own imaginary world. I learned to transform strangers' curiosity into an opportunity to share information and make friends. If their directness left me lost for words, I could rely on Rosie. She was funny, quick-witted, and loved to chat. Daisy doesn't walk yet because she has, I know I can't say that, y'all. I will have to look at how it's broken down, and I don't want to mess it up. But it's a particular syndrome. It doesn't matter, though, because she's such a beautiful angel. And this is my brother, Lens. He has classic autism, which means he is brilliant at spinning. I love how she said that. I have learned so much in my 2 decades of being a mother. My children have been my best teachers, especially Rosie, who can often offer insight into what younger siblings are feeling but cannot say. I wish there had been a wise friend to support me in those earlier days. So, if you know someone who has a child with autism, here are 10 ways you can help. 1, encourage your friend to seek out whatever support is on offer for social and educational services. When parents and services work together in a mutual, respectful way, everyone is a winner. I agree. 2, support your friend to advocate for her child. Medical professionals, and let's just stop a minute. Do y'all notice how it's support your friend to advocate for her child? Most times this falls back on the mom. Dads are involved. I thank God for my husband. I couldn't do this alone, but most times this falls back on the mom. Medical professionals and school staff often focus on what the child can't do. As a mother, I need to feel positive about my children and want those involved in their care to see their strengths as well as challenges. Having a friend who knows my child come along to a difficult meeting to support me is invaluable. 3, much advice can be gleaned from other local parent groups, and it is great comfort for parents to meet others in the same boat. But if your friend is feeling overwhelmed entering the world of special needs, she may need you to accompany her for initial meetings. 4, strangers' curiosity is often unwelcome. An inquisitive stare or an ill-judged remark can be the last straw. Having you by her side to fend off unwanted interests or offer calm explanations will make all the difference. Broken sleep, number 5. It's often a huge issue for children with autism. Their parents' physical, mental, and emotional health can suffer from many sleepless nights. If you know her child well enough, offer to stay in the house occasionally and be the one to get up instead. 6. Occasional respite care can be a godsend. Yes, it can. Amen and amen again. Allowing your friend time to invest in her marriage, spend time with her other children, or just recharge her batteries. But the thought of allowing strangers to care for her child may fill her with guilt. She may need you to help explore what local services can offer in the way of respite care. 7. As the child grows older, their differences may become more apparent. Behaviors such as rocking, flapping hands, or bouncing, often called stimming, may mark them out because it draws attention to their child. Some parents find stimming acutely embarrassing and try to stop it. But stimming isn't just some annoying habit. It often gives a good indication of how a person with autism is feeling. It can show their distress or their joy. It can be a comfort or distract them from something that is intolerable. 8. Family functions, such as parties and long celebratory meals, can be tricky with an autistic child. Be on hand to help out. Pack a goodie bag filled with distractions. This does not need to be expensive. Spinners, balloons, and stretchy toys can be great diversions. A prepared goodie bag can be the difference between your friend being able to stay at the celebration or having to leave early with a distressed child. 9. A mother of an autistic child may say that she can't come for an evening out, as it is simply too difficult for her to leave home. Keep asking. Keep reminding her that she is a valued friend and that her company is very much wanted. 10. I firmly believe that dealing with today's problems is quite enough. Discouraging your friend from trying to plan too far ahead. Discourage your friend from trying to plan too far ahead. And I learned this from my mama. My mama is gone. It'll be 3 years on the 10th, but she worried about my brother all of his life. My mother is gone on, and my brother is doing just fine. He's doing better than any of us. And so I'm kind of learning not to try to plan too far ahead. Energy spent worrying about the future will drain her energy for today. Our young people with autism can surprise us, developing in ways that seemed impossible when they were children. Calm parents, love, and unconditional acceptance are vital ingredients for ensuring happy adult autists. And that is shared from The Guardian.
That was a great top 10 list.
I firmly agree. I'm going to drop the link again. I'm going to read some of the chat. Thank you for coming, Glorious Life on Wheels. Hey, Cindy. One love. Cindy says, I think you need patience and compassion to be a parent to a child with autism. 100%. And so those are the articles that I had to share today. What led me here again was hearing someone basically blame a parent for the reason that their child has autism, blaming a parent for the reason their child isn't talking. Because I'm bold enough to not care what anyone has to say about me, I'll speak about it. My daughter is 9 and she's not talking. It hurts, but it doesn't make her any less. And I'm doing everything that I know how to do to make it better.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you don't have anything good to say, then shut the hell up. And there's no better way to put it, because it's already a day-to-day struggle. And you don't know the pieces that are added to that person's life. And you don't know that last thing that's going to make somebody snap or send them over the edge. For some people, autism is this cool thing. Like, I can't even explain it. But for some, it's hard every day. And some days it's just hard to get up and even face it, especially if you hadn't slept in days. And so be mindful. Just be mindful of the things that you say. And that's about any child, whether it's a child with autism or not. Don't talk about children. To see Gaming Prince 91 talk about being bullied then and still being bullied now, and to hear Angel say how, you know, he'll just step away from something if it's offensive to him or offending him, and I think that that's amazing that he knows how to do that, but everybody doesn't.
No.
And nobody deserves to be mistreated. Nobody deserves to be talked about. And I can't lie, every time I see it, it makes me feel like I hadn't done enough in spreading awareness, because it shouldn't be something that we continue to just do and be okay with it. And so I'll never be okay with it. I'll never be quiet about it. And I'm always going to speak out against it. Is there anything that you would like to say, Angel? Because I'm truly at the end. I've dropped the link. I will drop it again one more time if anyone else would like to come up. Angel, you have been an angel for me today.
And the other thing I want to say there, Aisha, and I don't know if you've ever had people come at you accusing your autistic kid of this, but I get tired of people saying that we use our disabilities as a crutch or that we hide from our disabilities.
Yeah. I've heard it. No one has ever said it to me, but I've heard it said before. And I know that I've had it said to me before with ADHD. People don't understand the daily struggle it is to try to run a home, to try to live an organized life when your brain is not organized, when your executive functioning skills are messed up, and when you're trying to not only organize and govern your life, but that of two people who are nonverbal with autism, and ensuring that they have what they need, in addition to being the caregiver of a mother-in-law with Alzheimer's, in addition to being a wife, and then a mom still to 3 other children. And so there's been days that it's been hard for me to get out of bed. There's been days that I want to start and I just can't figure out how to start, because that's my executive functioning. And yeah, I've been told that I've used it as an excuse or a clutch. And the truth is, I didn't even know it hadn't even been 10 years that I've had the full diagnosis. I went my entire childhood not knowing, and even in my adulthood thinking something was wrong with me. When in fact, nothing's wrong with me. My brain just operates differently.
Same here.
Wow, thank you, Angel. I appreciate you for becoming a member. You didn't have to do that.
I know, it's just I love you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, I love you. Thank you. And I welcome you with open arms. You have definitely helped me today. I started out mad and ready to just bite some heads off, and you came in here and you taught all of us something. And I thank you for that. This platform, this panel is always open to you, and I am certain I will reach out to you again, because we're going to talk about this more. And I say more because, again, I think the only way to stop things from being so taboo is to bring awareness to it. You've definitely made me think differently about some things with my daughter. We do ABA, and that's simply because, we're trying to help her learn safer behaviors because she doesn't understand danger. But I'll never send her away. That's something I can promise you.
Yeah, don't ever send her away to a psychiatric facility or to the state.
Yeah, I'll never do that.
I
I
just,
love that little girl.
I just don't want any parent who has a autistic kid to ever have to go through the stuff that I did.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Like you gave me some great insight on how to do some things a little bit different. And I'll reach out to you more if that's okay with you.
That's okay with me.
To ask questions because I don't know. Kids, each child is different one. That's just period. All children are different. Isn't it? Was on here. Yes, my daughter. Yeah.
Just laugh is like tea ambers.
Yes, it is. But yes, I'm so happy. I tell you, God never ceases to amaze me. Like, yeah. And so you have truly blessed me today. Positive pusher, thank you. How did you find out about this channel? Were you had you always been coming over?
I have always been subscribed to you, but I just haven't came over all that often. And I've seen a couple of your other streams that you've done before there, Aisha. But when I saw this topic, I knew I had to hop on and become a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Because again, that goes to the whole nothing about us without us. And like, I want you to know that you have a voice and your voice matters. And I'm one of those that if I have to get in front of the 100 to make sure that your voice is heard, I'll do it. I'll do it. Because the world can be cruel. And it doesn't have to be. We got to be better people. We got to be better people and make room for all people.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. And so I thank you for just even helping me see some things differently.
No problem. You just need to get to know what it is that your daughter is like and that kind of stuff. And once you learn more, you'll understand it more. Like times that she may have wanted time by herself, and times that she came to you is because of she wanted to be with you and that kind of stuff. You just need to like slowly get to learn her. Excuse me, I just hiccuped there. If you heard that,
You're okay.
It's because I ate a late breakfast where I had microwaved a Jimmy Dean delight breakfast sandwich in the microwave, but I had my camera off. Are you frozen, Aisha? Hey, Carolyn Eats all. Love you, Carolyn. Guys, I think Aisha may be frozen. Now I'm just up here by myself. But while Aisha is getting her power figured out, I'm going to turn my camera on and show another doll that I have. It's different from this one here, Aisha, but let me show the one that I have now. I've been on YouTube since I started my channel back in 2016, but I did not start uploading until late February of 2018. So I've been doing YouTube for like over 2.5 years now. If you go back to my oldest video on my channel, and I've been doing the stuff on there for a while. So the other day I had went to my local Build-A-Bear workshop to have my own bear doll be made, but it was basically a prototype because I'm trying to get my own doll created there, guys, for my own type of merch to sell on my YouTube channel. And I was trying to and I was trying to find to find everything to have it look like me and that kind of stuff, like the shirt, the jeans, the shoes. But the main selling point will be this.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Angel, for holding it down. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you for holding it down. My husband is doing something with the power. Oh no! So did you get that from Build-A-Bear?
Yeah, it's a prototype doll because I'm trying to get my own created doll to have it look like me, but also have my lap inside. I'm trying to get my own doll made to sell as my merch.
Hey, when you get that doll, I'm going to buy one. Yes, when you get it, I promise you, I'm going to buy one. I think that is awesome. And you can do it. Dre said, that's awesome. Tony Damien says, hey, twin. She says, love it. The positive pusher says, oh, I love it at Angel's Army. So what made you name your channel Angel's Army?
Well, in the beginning, it used to be the Angel Nunez variety show, but that was a bit too long, and it's because of all the stuff that I do on my channel. But what made me change to my channel to have it be Angel's Army is because we're all there for each other, and we're there like an army where we'll always be there for one another.
That is awesome. Positive, do you or Tony, do you guys mind dropping his link again? And so do you do any type of gaming?
Nah, I don't do any gaming. I used to like during the first couple of years of on my channel, I did gaming. Like I played like a live stream through my PS4, and I had like one of those live stream apps that allowed you to live stream gameplay onto your YouTube channel. And I did a couple games on my mobile device onto my YouTube, but I haven't done any gaming since then. I still play games. I have a PS4 Pro and an Xbox One S, but I haven't live streamed on my channel in a while.
Okay. One last question for you. You told me, you asked me, does she like to draw? And I said yes. And you said try having her spell. How would I start? How do you suggest starting?
Does she know how to like write?
She draws, and she can write. She doesn't like to. She does it on her own. If that makes sense. Like she will write her numbers down when she wants to, but when you want her to, she won't.
Well, the thing is, if you are like wanting her the wanting to like ask her if there's anything you want me to get you at the grocery store, maybe you can write it out on the board yourself, slide it under the door or wherever she is at, and then have her do a reply back, and then have her give it back to you.
Okay. And so she doesn't have a door. We took it down when she was younger. Um, and it's crazy that you say that, because lately I've been wondering, should we put it back up because she's
Well,
getting older.
well, it's just that if she's getting older, I would say put it back up because when she is between the 9 to 11 and 12 stages leading up to the teenage years, things can start to get a bit much for a person, because I was the same way growing up, like around 9, 10, 11, and 12. Things were like that for me. So I see where she is coming from and where you're coming from. So I would suggest putting the door up, back up.
Okay, I can do that. How do you feel about ABA therapy?
ABA therapy, well, does she love it? If she does, then it's helping. But if it's not doing anything, then it's her way of saying that she doesn't want to do it.
Okay. She loves going. She gets out the car. She's excited to be there. And they work on a lot of functional stuff, like helping her to be independent more so than academics.
But if she loves it, then it must be helping her.
Wow, I didn't think about it. Wow, thank you, Angel.
Because the thing is, for an autistic people, they think differently, eat differently, and do differently. So whenever someone suggested something to me that I don't like or that I don't feel comfortable with, it's just my way of not being okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, let's say if your daughter there, Aisha, did not like going to AB therapy, it's just her you trying to tell you that she doesn't like going there, or she doesn't like doing it.
Mm-hmm. She seems to love it. Like she gets up, she goes, she doesn't cry. When it's time to get out the car, she gets out the car smiling and go on inside. And
Yeah, and for me, whenever there's something that I know that I love, I know it's helping me.
okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes great sense. I noticed you said something about food. So she doesn't try a lot of different foods. Are you a picky eater?
Nah, I'm not a picky eater. I pretty much eat anything and everything. The only thing I only ate once, but haven't ate again as of yet, and I may give it a second shot, has been fish.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it because of like, so like my son doesn't eat shrimp, but it's because of it's funny because he's grown, but it's because of a cartoon from when he was little, and there was a shrimp in there that he liked, and so he stopped eating shrimp.
Well, no, it's not from a TV show or anything like that. It's just the very first time that I had fish. It was the smell, but then also the way it tasted. But I think the smell was still lingering inside of me that made me get
Mm,
that disgusting taste from it.
wow. I love how you explain um um all of this. I don't
I saw that. I saw that.
yeah. I love how you explain your whys. I definitely appreciate you clicking Tony says it is a texture for me. Yeah. That's like me with grits when I was younger. I could not eat grits. Ugh.
And the texture for me growing up, I couldn't eat the lettuce, tomatoes, celery, mushrooms, broccoli, any of that healthy stuff. But nowadays, I am able to. And isn't it funny on how no matter if you're autistic or not, there's that one kind of food or that one particular kind of snack that when you were younger that you just like had to go. And then but as you get older, you love it again.
Yeah, well, I don't know because my husband is like that with bananas now and then. He doesn't like bananas.
He loved them back then.
Yeah, and he doesn't like them now. He doesn't like the texture of it. Yeah. Angel, you are like the coolest guest I've ever had, and you have made my day more than you know.
No problem, Aisha.
I appreciate you for hitting the link and coming up, and please know that you are always, always welcome. And again, thank you. And your laugh is indeed infectious, and it does sound a lot like T. Amber's. I'm sorry. I want to read Tony. Tony says, Aisha, I feel like the spectrum is so vast. Everyone needs to allow an open mind to see the abilities,
not the
limitations. Absolutely.
Because I think people need to look at what they're capable of doing and not what they think they can never do. Because I have people say to me, oh, you'll never make it. You'll never do this. You'll never do that. You'll fail. You'll collapse. You'll never do it in this kind of life. Come the fuck on. Sorry, my language. It's just
okay.
people can prosper and go after what they believe in. But if someone thinks that you can't do it, it gives you the encouragement to do it.
Do it. Wow. The positive
because you will want to prove those naysayers wrong.
Exactly. Positive Pusher said, great job, Angels Army.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can't thank you enough. You have truly, truly blessed me today. And please know that you're always welcome.
Thank you, Aisha. And I'm not sure if you're subscribed to my channel or not there, Aisha.
I'm going to make sure of that right now.
Drop the link one last time, Tony or Positive Pusher.
You have indeed blessed me.
And a lot of people don't like us. Like what one of the people said, I think it was Dree, who said that he couldn't tell that I was autistic. But one of the ways you're able to figure it out is my speech impediment, because my speech impediment is in line with my autism, my ADHD, my bipolar, my mood, and my seizure disorders that I have. So when you hear me stutter, when you hear me like not say a word for a while, or like if you like notice me repeating the same word and that kind of stuff, it's my speech impediment with my autism.
Yeah. Angel, actually we are. I don't know how. I don't have you on all notifications, so I'm going to make sure it's on all, as well as
Positive Pusher said Angel was a panel pro.
let's see here. I'm sorry. Okay, yes. So we are linked. I have you on all notification, as well as I have joined your membership as well. And Angel is indeed a panel pro. Positive Pusher, thank you for sharing his link again. Angel, you give me much hope.
Yeah. And also, just let your daughter try to be what she wants to believe in. Because I recently watched a compilation video of a different contestant on different shows like The X Factor, America's Got Talent, and Britain's Got Talent. And each and every one of these people in the compilation were people that have been bullied, and they all each have a disability and that kind of stuff. Just to let your daughter go after what she believes in her life, and just be there to know that she can do things what she believes in. Like if she wants to be a singer, like if she wants to be an actor, if she wants to be a lawyer or whatever she wants to be in growing up, just make sure she can be successful in what she believes in.
I will do my best. I will do my best. Um, I watched this episode of 2020, and I'm gonna watch it again. Where this young kid with autism, it's crazy because my mom had me to watch it, and then there's another content creator here that has a son with autism, and she asked me had I tried puppets. And in this 2020 interview, the guy, he wasn't verbal, but his dad started using puppets to talk to his son, and that's how he became verbal. And he ended up moving out, living on his own and getting a girlfriend. And so I don't, like, there was a time in my life that I really wanted my babe to be verbal, and I still do. But I also realized that whatever form of communication, as long as she can communicate and she can understand and others can understand her, I'm okay with it. So my question to you is, she loves things that are no longer in existence, like Yo Gabba Gabba. It doesn't come on anymore. Ella Elephant, they don't come on anymore. Bubble Guppies, I think they do still come on. Um, what are ways that I can use the things that she loves, like those three things specifically, to interact with her? That, and she likes building. She loves building things.
Um, have you tried Legos?
Oh yeah, she loves Legos.
Try seeing if there are any type of other building activities. But in terms of that, maybe try to see if there's like a one of those Yo Gabba Gabba dolls online through like eBay, like how I found this Quincy plush toy.
Mhm.
Just because at the time of the back in April of this year, when I was going through some stuff and I couldn't call my brother because he didn't have any cellular service. So I got this just to help me out leading up until when I had adopted my pet cat that I have now. And now I use this as a sleeping mechanism where I hold it when I go to bed, and then
Mhm.
it helps me fall asleep every night. But try finding a Yo Gabba Gabba doll to play with or interact with her. And maybe try seeing if there are any Yo Gabba Gabba episodes on YouTube, or seeing if they're available on some type of
Oh,
streaming service.
they're on YouTube. She knows how to work YouTube very well. She has an iPad that she um yeah, uses very well. No, I haven't seen Cody Lee. Tony Damien said Angel's Army needs to counsel autistic kids. And I think so. I have a cousin that I'm going to make sure that I get you two connected, because he explains himself pretty well, like you do. And he has a hard time um, finding friends. And so I'm excited about that, and allowing him, even getting him to see this video. But he wants to be a counselor. He recommended the ABA therapy center that my daughter goes to. He talked highly about it, and he actually even helps her with some of her programs. And he's only 13, and he says that he wants to be a therapist when he gets older, and he can do it. I know he can. I know he can. So yeah, thank you for that. Like, thank you. You are so refreshing.
Because like for me, there's a lot of things that I still watch, even though Some of them have been rebooted and revived now. Like I still watch the old DuckTales on Disney Plus, and for me, the revival, I would watch a lot of Supermarket Sweep.
You said Supermarket Sweep? I
Yeah.
love Supermarket Sweep. I absolutely love Supermarket Sweep. And so let me tell you, my what they call neurotypical, I don't like that word, but my neurotypical children, they still watch Disney Plus too, and they're 18 and 17. They're probably going to be in their 30s still watching it.
I'm thinking about maybe adding a perk to my membership there, Tony, where I would add some counseling or some type of like advice to people who have an autistic child.
Make it work for you, buddy. Make it work for you. Well, I made sure that I went over and made sure that I had you on all notification, and I joined your membership today.
Thank you.
No, thank you. You're amazing. I appreciate you, Angel. I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you.
No problem.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye. Y'all, I'm gonna let y'all go because I'm toe up and I don't want to be toe up on live. And I just kind of want to praise God for a minute. Ahhed Deuce, thank you for coming in. Tony, please text me that name so I can look it up. Y'all, I'm sending lots of love, joy, peace, blessings your way. Remember, you're responsible for all of your own happiness. And all I can say is to God be the glory. And unless you've walked a mile in the shoes of a person that's dealing with autism, of a parent that's trying to raise a child with autism, of just keep your mouth off kids, man. And I say that with the most sincerest heart, because a kid doesn't even have to have those type of disabilities. You don't know what type of trauma they're facing at home. You don't know how they're treated at the house. You don't know if somebody cussed them out on their way to school that morning. You don't know what they saw. You don't know why they react the way they react or do the things that they do. Keep your mouth off kids. Because one thing's for sure, whether you believe in God or not, the Bible says the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell within. And Jesus says, suffer the little children to come unto me. You're going to be held accountable for what you say about people's kids. You're going to be faced with it. And I say it all the time. I was that person that would sit in the store and see a child have a tantrum and look over and be like, oh, he needs to just be toe up. But that's not the case. God used this little girl to show me how judgmental I was. He used this little girl to show me how, truthfully, a lot of the better sides of me that I didn't even know were there. So until you can walk a mile, and I won't even say a mile, a fourth of a mile, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. In the words of my grandmama, just shut the hell up. The Positive Pusher says, thank you to the 10 wonderful people who are in the room. Yes, thank you for being here. Guys, please. Oh, Ahhed Deuce, thank you, babe, for dropping in. You and I have got to catch up. Y'all, please share this video as much as you can. I feel like Angel gave us a lot of great tools to work with, great information. He's just encouraged me, period. Tony says, felt the same way about foster children with so much trauma. Yeah. And so when I see this, because I see it on a regular basis, and I have to be honest, y'all, and this is no offense against any other race, we are suffering because we sit back and laugh about stuff and gossip about it and chatter about it instead of trying to figure it out, understand, and help. I don't know when we got away from the village concept, but God knows we need the village concept back. And that's just real talk. And Angel said it best. Stop saying it's an excuse or they're using it as a crutch. It's life. And life itself is hard to maneuver. Can you imagine trying to maneuver through a world that has created a norm that really shouldn't even exist? Because we're all different. We're all different, but I get it. For the purpose of science, for the purpose of research, you have to have a norm reference. But we're all different. We're all individuals for a reason. We all have our own fingerprint, and we're all going to leave our own imprints on this world. And so as long as parents are ensuring their children have quality life, and what I see in Angel right now is quality of life, that is the most important thing. So yeah, I thank you guys for taking this time with me. I pray that, again, this video, I've never prayed for a video to go viral, but I pray that this video goes viral. And I pray that it goes viral so that people can hear Angel's story. I pray for his father. I pray that his parents see that they aren't failures and that none of this was their fault. And I pray that their relationships can be restored. I pray that his relationship with his siblings continue to get stronger. And I pray that God gives me wisdom to continue to be who he's called me to be. And the strength to continue to say whatever needs to be said. And it's in Jesus' name I pray, amen. Tony says, a norm that resists your challenges. Yeah, sad times. So with that being said, y'all, I'm gone. I love you guys. I'm sending lots of love, joy, peace your way. In the, what do you call it? In the tradition of Thankful Tuesday, y'all, see how much we have to be thankful for. Peace, ahhed deuce. Cocoa Butter says, he's so wise. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He has me literally overflowing with so much joy. And that's not even my kid. Thank you for coming. Yes, please thumbs the live up on your way out. I love you too, twin. And Dre, I hear the drill, so he's not on here. He's probably listening, but he's drilling something. Y'all pray for us as we, yeah. But thank you guys. I love you guys. Today has been absolutely amazing. I pray that something was shared to change the heart of many. Share. If you're not connected with Angel's Army, I encourage you to do so because he articulates so well. And yeah, I'm grateful for today's experience. Thank you to everyone that's here. Positive Pusher, thank you for being so faithful. Thank you to BBK. Thank you, Glorious Life on Wheels. Thank you, Angel, for joining our membership today. Y'all have an amazing day today, and I'm just going to relish in the beauty of this. Yeah, I love you guys.